Energy, electricity. Overrated, underappreciated, and way too heavily relied upon. You see, some of us, like myself, I've done it before. I lived in a shack that I built with my own hands in woodcutting bush once with no power, no plumbing, no nothing. I lived there quite happily, cutting wood and taking care of the bush because it was woodcutting bush that an old bloke owned, and he needed someone just to keep an eye on the place and make sure that people weren't poaching all the wood out of there, like chopping trees down that they weren't paying royalties for. I lived there for about a year. No bills. All I had to do was look after that bush, and I had all the firewood I wanted. I could sell a bit here and there as well. That was a pretty good life. I'd go back to it in a heartbeat if I could. Sadly, that all that land got sold, and it's an organic fucking some kind of vegetarian, vegan fucking soybean farm or some shit now. I don't know. They probably milk almonds or something. It was a good life. I actually quite enjoyed it. How many of you could do that? Honestly, how many of you could do that? Imagine if the grid went down, just pink gone. You probably better start imagining it because I can see it happening. This year. Quite possibly this year. You might have to get used to learning to how to live without electricity. Everything's just so fragile in the whole grid. Everything without electricity, everything's gone. You know that, right? Like everything. How does the food get kept fresh in the cool stores in the just enough agricultural industry like that are bound by contracts by the cool stores like Simplot, Harvest Moon, McCain's, Edgels, Macro, Coles Costas. It doesn't. It spoils. How does the food get harvested when they can't get diesel because they can't pump it? Which means no tractors, right? How do you deliver anything? How can anything be done? It all has to be, we have to go back to the Amish ways. How many of you know how to ride a horse? How many people know how to take care of a horse? Or a pony? Or a donkey? Bet most of you only know how to take care of your ass. Your own ass. And even then I'll be surprised. You know things are only meant to come out of it, right? Not in it. And no, if you stick in your thumb, you won't pull out a plum. How many of us are capable of growing food? Not just have the means. Are you capable? You, because how do you water it if there's no pumps to pump our water to our homes? With no water pumping, what do you do about your toilet? Do you shit uphill from where you live or where your food is, or downhill? How far away? Do you know how to store food so it lasts? And if you do know how to do these things, do you know how to grey man it all so that your neighbours don't get suspicious on like these people are living a bit too well? What have they got that we don't have? So next thing you know, you got little groups of raiders wanting to come through your house to take whatever it is they think you might have. Do you think perhaps you'd be better off bugging out? If you're going to bug out, you're going to leave everything just vulnerable for looters and raiders, because it might only last for 3 months. Then you come back and everything's gone, destroyed, the house burnt down or whatever. Do you have the means to get out of it if you got to? Do you have a big enough vehicle to do it? Do you have fuel in it? Are the tyres good? Do you have a spare tyre? You see, there's a lot of other things people don't think about too if the grid goes down. They've got to let everybody out of prison. Because they can't look after them. No electricity means no prison, right? Which means no courts, which means no police. It means we actually go back to the dark ages. We go back to having to walk away from it all, whether we like it or not. Except we have to walk away from it with the worst of the worst in our societies. Because we haven't dealt with the worst of the worst. We're just letting the system deal with them in a never-ending revolving door system. Because, like, you know, we could actually keep them in a prison if we still had a prison farm. That would work, but we don't have a prison farm. In that scenario, how do you deal with the addicts in the community that have got nothing, the homeless people that have got nothing, but they're hanging out for their grog and their drugs? Nine meals. That's 3 days. Imagine watching your kids starve for 3 days. And then they start getting real fucking hungry. Their gut starts aching. They're cramping. They're crying. They can't go to sleep. They're hungry. They're scared. They're not. When are we going to eat next month? I don't know. Can't ask Dad why. Because he's a drop kick deadbeat in jail or doesn't even know he's got a kid. Serious things to think of, considering we're fucking coming into a war period and we've got nothing. We got nothing. How would we cope with being Palestine? How would we cope with being Ukraine? Because, like, you know, it's pretty piss poor shit attitude to take about the people. It's not the people, it's their government. How would you like to be in a role reversal? I think it's time everyone started to reevaluate the situation a bit. So when that grid come down, motherfucker, that grid come down.